All right, let's see if I get the camera set up right. There we go. Yeah. All right, I'm Beck Lane, and this is Catalyst & Company. Catalyst & Company, where we're catalysts in each other's lives, as well as our own, and we work at being the artists we've always wanted to be. I've got the iPad at an odd angle, but I'm all dressed up today. I'm not in my jammies. And I'm showered because I was on a local TV station this morning, ABC7, on a show called Suncoast View. We were interviewed over the Frida Project, and by we, I mean Stephanie Gray at Gray Productions and myself, because Stephanie is now working as my manager. So let's review. I went from pajamas and not showering for days on end, but I now have a PR marketing person, and my sister, and manager, Stephanie Gray. And Stephanie, by the way, is headed to Atlanta this weekend to start talking to galleries up there about doing pop-up shows and getting me in a gallery up there, because we need to start expanding. Staying where we are is not the end goal. It is going out and out and out. And actually something happened this morning where something even bigger could be happening last night, but again this morning another opportunity popped up. So behind me are for the Frida colors I brought to the TV station today, and these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These 5 are part of 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't know how many that are headed to an artist talk I'm giving this weekend at Lexow Gallery. So Saturday, April 5th, from well, the doors open at noon. The talk starts at 12:30 till 1:30. I'm going to be with moderator Mia Dean, who's a really good friend and a great art talk moderator. She's unbelievable, so insightful. So these are all headed over there. I'm actually going to be working on a few new pieces starting in a little while, so that we always have something fresh adding to the 55 Frida Project, which is, of course, let's review, 55 portraits of the artist Frida Kahlo that I've been working on developing since late December. I think it was after I got sick and started to get a little bit better, started in December. So this morning I was on ABC7. It was, I understand the interview went well. On my end, I don't think well sitting down because I'm used to doing this in front of the camera and seeing myself. So I was a little discombobulated having to sit down and not wave my arms around. Stephanie and I had actually, artists, please take note of this. Months ago, my sister asked me to start defining the work I do and why I do it, and how I choose my reference material. And that was incredibly helpful. I know, but I realized I maybe hadn't expressed it enough, said it on videos or written it out, so I think about it while I'm making videos, while I'm talking to people. So here we are, artists take note, because I did the essays, short essays for her. Then she said, can you make these into videos? So I did. They're not polished, they're me and my iPad, but I made a couple of different sets of videos, or maybe 3, of that, using that information. And then taking and applying that information and that thought process to the 55 Frida Project. So when I'm doing interviews, I actually have a script. And this is what I'm saying, is developing a script so that when you are doing interviews, you're not like all over the place and nervous. This morning, I was not nervous. This morning, my main worry, my main concern was representing the people around me well. I'm not afraid of making an ass of myself, obviously. I'm not afraid of looking ridiculous and making mistakes. I'm not afraid of any of that. I wasn't nervous. It is representing the people who have supported me, and artists, please keep this in mind. The people who have supported me, who have supported all the artwork I do over the years, well, representing the community in a respectful manner. I gotta be me, I mean, you gotta be you. So we try and keep it entertaining, informative. I do get a little strong and nuanced, and you know, you are going to pay attention to me now. But that came after I let out my Amadeus on too much sugar giggle. As ready as I was, and we had been going over the script last night, Stephanie and I, we were presupposing questions we would be asked. So she was ready to go. She had the answers right there. I had the answers somewhere in my head floating around like alphabet soup, but it was there. However, the interviewer, she came into the green room, Linda came into the green room and gave us an outline of the questions she was going to ask. And I was like, okay, we got that. And I was answering her using the script in my head. I went over it, nuanced a couple of sentences down because we had 5 to 7 minutes. We tried to keep it to 5 with Jordan, my friend Jordan, who drove me there, was my Uber today. We went over it with Jordan. Jordan kept asking me this one question over and over and over again. I had him do that so that I would get it down shorter, shorter, shorter. Shave things off. Shave unnecessary wordy things off, surprise, and get it down to a few seconds and be able to hold at the end, close it really well and just hold that and hold Linda's gaze. That's what we wanted. So people hear the words, not just endless blather like I normally do. So we honed it down. We were ready to go. We went over everything with Linda, the interviewer, the host today. And we sat down on the couch. They did the countdown. The cameras went up. Linda was reading the prompter. She had a list of questions in front of her. And she turned to me and she said, Beck, tell us about this project. Oh, tell us about the Frida Project. Or tell us something like to tell us about the project. And I just looked at her and I'm thinking in my head, that wasn't what you were going to ask me first, because I got honed in on the questions and being concise. And I can pivot, but the question, the way she phrased it, was about this big. And afterwards, that's what I said to her. I said, number one, I was sitting down, and I can't talk sitting down because I got to wave my arms. But the question was like this big. And so I had alphabet soup, all these little letters floating around in my head while I'm trying to figure out what question you're actually asking me and how am I going to answer it. And so I looked at her, and I think I looked up, and I remember looking at the floor, and then I giggled like Amadeus on way too much sugar at a birthday party. And then I looked back, I think I just looked back up at her, and she asked me the correct question. She asked me the question she was going to actually ask me, so we could hone it back down. So we went from the giggle at the open. Hello, Sarasota. I'm giggly and confused. How are you? So she caught that I was lost in space. And she rephrased the question. She went back to a question she was originally going to ask me, presented that, and it was boom. It was pretty much, I mean, it was a tiny bit awkward in the first few words I got out, and then it was boom, boom, boom. And the questions, as she asked me, they got tighter. The answers got tighter and more serious and tighter and tighter. She turned to Stephanie. Stephanie sitting there, and she was beautiful and sweet and charming and kind and direct and concise. And so she was able to answer questions and then come back to me, and it was tight. So this is the stuff we've been working for. This is the stuff I love to do. I love to do. I'm sitting on that little couch. I'm sitting in the green room, just to share with you. I'm sitting in the green room with Stephanie and Jordan and coffee and apple tarts, which are one of my favorite things. And we're watching I forgot where I was going. Oh, they've got a big screen in there, and we're watching Good Morning America. And I looked at Stephanie and I go, that's where I want to be. That's where I want to be. And I told Stephanie about how it's been a goal of mine to be the next Alice Neal. Now, I've talked about it many times. Alice Neal, I still remember Alice Neal, the portrait artist Alice Neal, being on the Johnny Carson show when Johnny Carson was there. And and her walking out in her ball gown with her cane, and she was so proud of herself. So proud of herself. She had done it. I remember watching her and I'm like, I want to be her. I want to be that artist. She was one of the most famous portrait artists alive at the time. She was showing at MoMA, Guggenheim, like all the big ones in New York were buying up her work. And I thought, I remember watching her going, I got to be that woman. That's where I want to be in life. And so I said to Stephanie, you know, Alice Neal, Tonight Show, Johnny Carson. And I said, he treated her with such reverence in that interview. The audience was laughing at her because they hadn't caught up yet. And she would just turn and look at the audience and go, no, no, no. Because she knew they were locked into the culture of the time where her painting African Americans, painting Black people in Harlem, painting Spanish, the Latino community, or I'm sorry if I've said that wrong, incorrectly, but painting people in Spanish Harlem at the time was like a joke. It's not something you do. It's not done. They're not important enough. And she was painting, one of her most famous paintings is of a resident of Spanish Harlem who was dying of tuberculosis. And she sat by his bedside and painted him. And they showed it on the Johnny Carson show, and she was explaining it, and the audience was like, ho, 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 that's ridiculous, it's so dumb. They were laughing at her and laughing at this portrait. She was not having it. And Johnny Carson was basically treating the audience like, you know, they were idiots. No, 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 you got to listen to this. This woman is painting right now. She is portraiture. Was basically the attitude that came across. But he was so reverential to this female visual artist who finally had starting to reach the heights that she had worked so hard for decades and sacrificed so much for her painting, for the work she did. I have to say, like me, deeply driven, cannot not do the work. It's not even a possibility to not paint, as with Alice Neal. And I'm right now it's hitting me. You know, I've been, oh, there's spider webs. Oh my God, I gotta clean. It's been months. It hit me this morning. You know, I've been joking for a decade now on this channel that I want to be Alice Neal, that I want to, you know, I want to achieve what Alice Neal achieved. She became famous at 60. I just had my 60th birthday in April. We're not famous, we're not there, but we're getting there between Stephanie and me and my sister and all these other artists who are, they're bringing the visual arts back to the forefront here in Sarasota because of this convergence of energy and drive and determination. We can all get there. I'm not alone anymore. I'm not alone anymore. And that's huge for me. That's huge for any of us, to not feel like we're sitting out in the wilderness in the middle of nowhere and nobody gives a shit. I'm very happy to say, I'm very pleased to say that I'm at the core of this visual arts movement. And I had a conversation last night with a friend of mine, Craig, who is very vocal about the visual arts having been left behind and us not getting funding, individual artists getting funding because we're not in the in crowd. We had talked about that. Our plan, our basis now is, you know, we're tired of begging to be seen. And he, like me, like Steph, we actually have enough cachet at this point. And I'm sorry to be all braggadocious alert, but we have enough cachet in this town, or almost do in this town, where we don't have to ask these institutions and these leaders in arts organizations who have been ignoring us this entire time. We don't have to keep begging them because we have such a collective, such a community at this point that we don't care. We've invited these people to the party. We have asked them to participate. And a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them have snubbed us. Well, you're not in the inner circle. You're not good enough for me and my friends. And I'm sorry to be so nasty, but it's friggin' true. We're not, you're a pedestrian. So all of us have decided together, we don't care anymore if these people show up. We'll invite you. The party is going on. The party is going on, and in another month, it will be absolutely raging. If you don't join, if you don't show up, that's your problem. I was joking around with somebody the other day about one person in particular who is at the head of several boards here and calls himself an art philanthropist. Nobody ever sees him, but okie dokie. Good for you. I'm a giraffe. How's your day going? So I'm president of the universe. How are you? So I was texting and I'm like, texting with my friend, I'm like, dear so-and-so, we invited you to the party. Where are you? Stuck in traffic? Because she does have a connection. This person has a connection to this one guy who's like, I'm a leader. A leader shows up. A leader leads. A leader doesn't go hide in a fucking office and just say, my circle, my friends. Like most towns, like all towns, there's this little elitist clique going on. But I'm really excited to say, I'm at the core, actually, of a community that is just like, we don't need you. We don't need you. You are going to need us very soon. And it's so good to say that. It is so good to be able to say that. So we have decided that we're going ahead with events, and we planned a bunch of events last night. I'll be doing an artist talk with my friend Craig at Palmer Modern on Lime Avenue, I believe it is, in downtown Sarasota, probably end of November. Probably November. Yeah, we have a lot of stuff we're planning. So if the gatekeepers, the people who have been the gatekeepers in the past, don't show up, they don't bother, that's their problem. But we're gonna have them. We're hopefully gonna make enough noise where they come to us. We don't need their validation. And I want everybody to feel that you don't really need anybody's validation. You just stick with it. We have been sticking with this for so long, so we just keep going. How many times have I been on YouTube going like, why would somebody tell me to take paint cans, recycle them, and paint Marvel characters on them? That's not what I do. You should do this and you should do that. And I've been stubborn enough and thick-headed enough to have insults thrown at me, to have horrible messages written to me because I won't do what people tell me to do. I have to do what's in my heart. I have to do what attracts me, like Frida Kahlo, like my black and brown figures. Don't paint black people. Don't paint black people. I'm not interested in your black people. You should paint this. Black people don't buy artwork. How many times have I been so insulted? I've been on YouTube bitching and complaining like I am right now. But I've said, you know what, we're just going to stick with it. We're going to keep doing what we're doing. And it has been 6.5 years in Sarasota. 6.5 long, painful years. But here we are. I'm now going to have my 3rd solo show. I've just been on ABC7. I've had my 3rd publication interview. I was in the Herald Tribune on Sunday on the front page of the art section. I was in the Observer last week, and last month on the 23rd, July 23rd, I was an article was posted about me in SRQ magazine. We're still waiting for Sarasota magazine to wake up, but you know what? If they don't, I don't care. At this point, I don't even care. You're the last one to walk in the door at the party. If you come along, great. If you don't, we now have a community going with a bunch of people. It's not just me. There's a whole bunch of people who've just been stubborn, about what they do. Pig-headed, stubborn, acorn skull thick about what they do, and just doing that thing. Like Alice Neal, like Frida Kahlo, like Vincent van Gogh, our friend Vincent. Just doing that thing no matter what is trendy or fashionable at the moment. Doing that thing that makes you want to keep breathing. And now hopefully over time I'll be able to extend the opportunities that that are opening up to me to other people, like my friend Wendy, who I've desperately wanted to work with. There are a number of people actually I've really, really wanted to work with, but I've had nothing to offer. And now we're actually headed in that direction. And speaking of that, at the TV station this morning, talk about serendipity. One of the hosts came up to me. She kept coming up to me going, I love your artwork. I love your artwork so much. I'm going to that show. I'm going to give you a call. You know, I got to see this work. I've got to see more of it. It was really lovely. But we're in the green room, and there was a woman in there who, she introduced herself as a real estate agent, but she said to me at one point, I could take my shoes off. She said to me at one point, have you ever thought about doing anything at this Museum of Fine Arts in St. Pete? And I said, I wanted to. I actually got serious. I said, I wanted to work with them. So I wanted to work with the museum so bad. I would love to show there, and I would really love to have my work be purchased so that we, you know, because being in museums has been one of my goals for a long time. And that's another, you shouldn't think so big, that I've been told over and over and over and over and over again. And I've been like, nope, nope. You're not paying attention. If you're telling me not to do this thing, it is the exact thing that I will do, because you're not paying attention to the artwork, and it shows that you're putting limitations on yourself. So, and I don't need to put those limitations on me. I don't need to have my goals defined by anyone. Thank you. So she actually works on a board, I think the board of the St. Pete Museum of Fine Arts in St. Pete. And she's like, we got to get your artwork in the door. We've got to get people to see your artwork, but the museum needs to work with you. Let's just take a moment, shall we? Where were we last October? Where were we last November? We were sitting here with our fingers crossed, going, God, please, please, either kill me or make this happen before I die. And we are on our way. And I say we because this is all about representing the people who have supported me and my artwork, more importantly, especially over the last 10 years. You know, as I'm sitting in that green room and I'm going over my lines with Stephanie and going over my script with Jordan and repeating things, it is not so I represent me, myself, I am awesome. Well, it is, quite honestly, the reason for rehearsing, the reason for writing things out, the reason for defining everything is so when we get to this moment, I am representing you, the people in our community, the people who have supported me on multiple levels, well, respectfully and well, and you can be proud of me even when I giggle on the couch, because I've got alphabet soup in my head. Anyway, that's it. I feel like I'm at the Academy Awards and I'm Sally Field. You like me, you really like me. There's a million people I could thank. The Kerrys, Eric, just Peg, there's 8 zillion people who have been so completely supportive. And this is what we as artists need to keep in mind is, it's not about us. It's not just about us and this thing that we do. It is about everyone we represent and how people feel about, about everyone that we represent, but everyone who has supported us, and that we make that, I'm not putting it well, but that community incredibly proud of us and incredibly proud of the support that they have given us. That has to be the foundation. That has to be the foundation. And this is why I work hard every single day. This is why I paint every day, so that people know their investment in me has not been wasted and it's not something they should be ashamed of or be disappointed in. So this has been 25 minutes, almost 26, and I'm still babbling. I could do this all day because I'm super excited and happy. But I'm getting to work on, like I said, more paintings for the Artist Talk this weekend at Lexow Gallery. The information for that is on my website, and I've been very good about posting what's coming up on the website. I'll have a link to the interview so you can watch me do my Amadeus giggle and then get serious because I'm a serious artist, and as well as other stuff. It'll all be listed down below, including ways to help support Catalyst and Company. This artwork, by the way, the Frida Kahlos are I have pricing for them on my website. You can also call Lexow Gallery or contact me because it's a church. It's the Unitarian Church. Lexow Gallery is at the Unitarian Church. So you can contact me and I can put you in contact with people to purchase from. After that, it will be available through other sources. But for right now, the pricing for it is up on my website. And as I finish each one, it gets posted. If you have any questions, contact me. All right, I'm going to shut up now. Believe it or not, I've had 2 cups of coffee today. And I'm like this. Imagine me after 10. And I've showered. It's a big day. All right, ready? Okay, Carrie. All right, Carrie, here we go. Ready? Meow, meow, meow. Boink.